Welcome to This Startup is Being Recorded. This recording is improvised fiction. Similarities between it and the real world are entirely intentional. Now, enjoy the recording.
Okay, hey everybody. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is the first recorded meeting we're gonna say this, but we are no longer Meta Market. We are Sit.
Sit.
We are Sit. And remember, I hope you all have continued brainstorming ideas for what Sit means, because John really insists that Sit is an acronym, so it's all capital SYT. And we have T- 2 weeks to come up with what our name means. But anyway, for anyone who's listening to this, we obviously record all our meetings for future employees and folks who want to learn about our company. Sit. We are a couch marketplace right now, but in the future, we're really helping shape trade for everyone and everything. And yeah, today we've got an executive stand-up to do, but let's go around real quick, do introductions in case we got any new employees listening.
I'll start. I'm Kalathea Nadarova. I'm the Chief Creative Czar for Sit. So excited to say that.
For Sit.
I can go. My name is Matt.Yachts. That's also my website. And I am the CTO here at Sit.
Sit. I'm Kate Banchette. I'm the Chief of Staff under John, the CEO of Sit. Here at Sit.
And I'm Eric Joy Carter, Chief Products Officer of Sit.
Sit.
It just sounds right. Sometimes you got to go with those first ideas, just like in your gut. And Sit was, it's great.
Yeah.
My only problem so far is it's such a common word. It's starting to lose meaning. Like we use it so much. And I feel like Sit. Okay, did I say that? Did I say it weird? Sit.
Yeah.
I'll get there.
It's a good thing our office cat really doesn't know tricks. I used to try to teach her Sit, but at this point, I think she'd just be sitting all the time if she actually knew how to do it. So it's probably a good thing she never caught on to the tricks. Anyway, let's go through stand-up. Anybody want to start?
I have some exciting news if it's okay.
Announcing
here.
Yeah.
We went hard at this. It took some convincing, but as you all know, the New York Times recently acquired Wordle.
Indeed.
We were trying to acquire Wordle ourselves, but we were outbid by the New York Times, as we all know.
Sure.
But they did agree to allow us to integrate the New York Times version of Wordle into the Sit checkout flow. And so as people are waiting for the confirmation page for their shipping information and for their order confirmation, they can play Wordle. And it's really increased customer engagement already in the last 24 hours. We're really, really excited about it. So kudos to our legal team, using a couple of those precious minutes to help us with the contract there, and for the engineering folks for getting it up so quickly.
Yeah, I've got to say, sorry, Kalathea.
No, go ahead. I was just going to laud. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. Our time spent on our pages on the website has dramatically increased.
Yeah. And as a CTO, that horrifies me. This is all a Band-Aid for underlying problems dealing with our payment processors. The fact that we have no automation for a lot of our shipment confirmation stuff, and that's handled by somebody copying cells between spreadsheets in real time while a customer waits. All of that is the worst, but I've never seen a more gilded Band-Aid. This is the trade-offs never made sense in my mind until I saw it up on the site. And I realized this is it. We've really accomplished something. And so thank you, Eric. Thank you to your team for all this. We're going to keep, from tech side, we're going to keep pushing to modernize all of our other team's stuff. Oh, sorry, Kate, by pushing in this case, I mean angry phone calls and emails to to, the shipping teams, the people who organize them. I'm pretty sure you get CC'd on all of these. They need to agree to some kind of automation process and planning. But in the short term, people are, they're getting their 3 out of 6 and loving it.
I'll also just say that, we've been in talks with the New York Times since we implemented this of actually doing a paid promotion once they roll that out on Wordle to have Couch be, I can't tell you what day because I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Upcoming, we are going to roll out Couch with a small banner ad that refers people to play on our website. So really excited about it.
Okay, that's so good.
Thank God what we sell is a 5-letter word. I'll just say really good foresight on our part.
Sometimes things work out.
Yeah. And Matt, the teams have been thinking about automation for sure. It's
Thank goodness.
Last year we had that situation where we tried to implement robots in the factory and it went so poorly that frankly there was just a very visceral reaction to anything that sounds like it might have to do with robot overlords.
I totally get it. It's just that we're probably at 1/200th of where we could be on throughput selling couches if we weren't reliant on individuals copying from spreadsheet to Google Calendar.
Yeah. We wouldn't have the option.
This is the thing that computers are good for. Exactly. I agree. Don't put those computers on 2-ton robots that are moving at 60 miles per hour through a warehouse. Tragic.
Yeah.
But
it was tragic.
Geez, I'm
very pointy hands.
Really glad I wasn't involved in that project.
Listen, the pointy hands were helpful. They stuck into the couch and moved them much easier than any sort of opposable thumb type robots we tried to identify. But okay, well, I will again have another session with Francis where we try to reintroduce the idea of macros and really any type of automation in Excel. But she has Control-C, Control-V down pat.
Don't get me wrong, she's fast, okay, but this is like a John Henry situation, okay, and I don't want to see her getting carpal tunnel.
John Henry situation.
You never heard the myth of John Henry?
No,
he's a tunnel digging man who went up against the first automated steam shovel, and in the myth, he won in a race to tunnel, but also he immediately died. Therefore proving that humans are not sustainable as tunnel diggers. And so automation ultimately won the day. It's a very confusing story, morally, but
can one die from copy and pasting too much?
It definitely is an RSI risk. That's a lot of work on the pinky, unless you have a special keyboard. And she was not interested in my overtures about special keyboards.
Plus the eye strain. Or at least talking about a decrease in quality of life, if not length of life.
Yeah. Also, her refusal to bring on someone to do it in her off hours. I mean, she is clocking 18, 20-hour days. And we can't take orders in the intervening.
Yeah, that whole system that she has set up where she just gets a red light and an alarm that goes off every time we have an order. And the fact that she lives in this environment, I mean, the blue light from her computer and the fluorescent light alone, it has to be toxic.
It's her doctors have tried to give her direct warnings. They've tried to be gentle, but I mean, at some point, she just began being very distrustful of medical institutions in general. Most of her advice now comes from some Reiki experts.
I know.
Well, that's not criticize Reiki. I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Sure. Eric, go ahead.
I know I brought this up and I keep bringing it up, but I don't think it's that unethical to convince her that robots have taken over, and the result is that she can no longer do the 18 to 20-hour days, and that we in fact are robots and have replaced this program with a normal working environment. It would take away the fear and replace it with a sense of resignation,
Right.
but preserve her physical life. I think we should at least reconsider it. And if we,
Oh, yeah.
And Eric and I have worked on the script for that. We've staged it. We built the costumes. We've figured out the set around her office. I think we could very easily implement it whenever.
Okay.
This is great.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on board.
Okay.
Just let Dev and IT know what you need to support this.
oh, that'd be great.
And we're
That'd be
essentially
great.
running our own version of the Matrix around one person, and that's awesome.
Yeah. Could we borrow, what is his name? Gerald? He has like a very monotonous voice. He works on your team.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably want to snazz him up a little bit. Some kind of a suit. Like he speaks in a monotone, but he's got a real punk aesthetic on his own.
Yeah, I just think that he's a natural in the way that he moves and talks. I mean, all we'd have to do is put a costume on him and he'd be very believable.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay. This seems like a Series A problem, right? I think we're so close to that funding. We'll have to do the automation then. I think it's good to have the plan, but let's hold off until that's final.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
they have no further requirements of order speed from us at the moment, which,
Right.
caveat emptor.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Eric, for that update. Anyone else want to go next on Stand Up?
I can go since we mentioned transition stuff. As the new name is coming in, I just want to remind everyone of, and I guess specifically like Calathea's team, but I know there's been a lot of work done to get our assets ready, arts, video for the new name, redoing a lot of our how-to videos and so on. Just everyone remember the difference between the CMS and the CDN. Because if you upload to the CDN, you're pushing that to thousands of servers at the global edges of the network and making them immediately available, often overriding content that is already in the app or on the website that we are not ready to overwrite yet. You should be using the CMS, our content management system, to stage those assets, new logos, videos, photographs, all that, and schedule them for release on the CDN.
You send out a lot of emails about this, Matt. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's taken a few tries to get the messaging right. And I think probably in one or two of those, I have mixed up the terms myself. So there's definitely, depending on like who's read which emails, there's a lot of misinformation out there. Unintentional, I assume. But yeah, we just need to really clear it up. New stuff, put it on the CMS and schedule it. The CDN is what we're using right now. Leave it be.
Totally understand. I mean, our team has had a lot of confusion. We are implementing a Pavlovian training right now within our organization. As you know, we already have electric shock built into the keyboards of the creative team, and it's a small shock. But right now, if they go to the CDM, they do get a small shock to keep them steered on the CMS. I just find these words are very confusing, and we want this to be instinctual. So really on the same page with you, Matt. We might have a problem when we are ready to use the CDN because it is now we'll have to use your team because my team is now pretty afraid of it. I would say a little bit of resistance. There were some tears and cowering. But they're using the CMS and, it's actually getting to a point where they like get hungry almost when they're about to use the CMS. So I think we're doing a really good job there on that part.
Great. Well, yeah, definitely sorry to cause emotional distress on this. And, it's confusing when two pieces of technology seem to do the same or similar things. And we're totally happy to step up and handle the transition from CMS to CDN when that time comes.
Great. Yeah, that would be wonderful. And anytime you need us to do anything on the CMS. It has developed a cult-like following among the creative team, so we're happy to do anything with the CMS now, just not the CDN.
Great. Yeah, very exciting. It's a powerful system, so it's cool to see people building their own workflows around it. Kudos to your team.
I think maybe we should be discouraging things like shocking our employees when they do something wrong, or like, I mean, I'm pro like giving them food when they do things right, but
I mean,
I understand that
Yeah.
you know, sometimes, you know, a carrot system works really well.
Yeah.
And that's usually, you know, what we try in our team is to, you know, have positivity, but it just didn't seem to be working and there was a lot of confusion. So we probably won't use the shock method in anything or a lot of things down the road, but it was really, really effective. Sometimes having that sense of resistance is a more powerful motivator.
it definitely reduced our number of incidents, like pretty much overnight. You know, we went from a week of constantly having to replace old assets on the CDN to the following week, none from your team, at least Calathea, although there were a few here and there. So
Yeah, I mean, the amount of influencers we've had to pay to keep our name under wraps. We've just, you know, we just couldn't risk it. And my team, I think, understands that we have a balance of both dark and light in my management style.
Of course. Okay, well, it sounds like we're pretty much wrapped up with the CDN CMS shock thing.
Before we move on, sorry, where is the CRM in all of this? Is there any behavioral modification for the CRM? I've noticed some weird cases come through from our sales team.
Oh, you know, I haven't been tracking that because it is internal facing, and I tend to worry more about the stuff that our customers are seeing. What kind of stuff have you been dealing with there?
Well, Calathea, you mentioned some fear. I did notice a number of customer support tickets have very, very kind of tense language, and there were some of the call recordings that involved more screaming than is typical. I'll just say. So I hope the behavioral modification hasn't bled into some of our other acronyms, particularly since we're now moving into an acronym-based name. That's the company.
Yeah.
Right. Oh God. Wait.
So
Were
yeah,
were those shock keyboards? Were those the Dell ones you ordered?
Yeah, of course, the Dell ones.
Oh no. I thought if we're getting new keyboards for your team, we should get new keyboards for my team. So the whole support team just had their hardware updated, and
Oh no.
I mean, they said some of them have tried, I think, to tell me they don't like it, but yeah, it's not easy for them.
I mean,
Oh God. And that, I mean, without somebody, you know, trained who's really reinforcing the negative versus the positive enforcement, I mean, if they're just getting it at random, they're living in a world of chaos.
God.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's terrifying.
so many of them work out of the CRM. That's how we track support requests.
Right.
I know.
So it's a critical function of their. Oh no.
Okay. We'll just after this right away. I'll go in there. I'll take all the keyboards away. They'll use the laptop keyboards. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Good looking out for your team to get them new equipment, though. You know, it's important to stay on top of that stuff, and it's easy to let it slip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I'm honestly so glad that you finally upgraded from the typewriter system that you were using.
Yeah, that one was really challenging to train people on. People made a lot of mistakes, which really is hard in typewriters, you know? And frankly, screening all of our candidates by the speed in which they could type without mistakes was, I think, probably ultimately not the best quality for support.
Though it was nice to have so many, 1950s and earlier business books to help write with that hiring language.
Yeah, those are really easy to check out from the library. Okay, I can... Oh, you want to go next?
No. Go ahead, Kate. I can be the dessert for last.
Okay, great. So my update, this is just a little awkward, but I wanted to bring it to you all. We've been having a few issues with couches disappearing from the warehouse. Like inventory numbers just aren't matching up. And a few of our inventory managers have told me that, Eric, that it's you, that you're coming in at night and taking couches. I didn't want to assume. I don't know. I just, this is what they told me. Maybe there's someone else that looks like you.
No, it's me. It's me.
Okay.
But this I was 80% through an elaborate and well-planned QA process so that we could understand where throughout the entire supply chain we were seeing discrepancies in our numbers and whether they were being caught or not. And now the integrity of the experiment is in question. Is anybody besides us and everybody watching know?
I mean, yeah, it was just a few inventory managers that I talked to. I mean, I don't know who they talked to. Frankly, the warehouse is just like Gossip City, so probably everyone at the warehouse knows. Wait, so you were doing
I was doing this on purpose, yeah.
A supply chain QA without telling us?
I mean, Matt, you know, security red teaming, you know, it's a well-worn process to inject chaos into the system and see how the system reacts. If I told people it was happening, they would have been more vigilant. And, you know, I guess we haven't lost everything. We did learn that it took, 16 days for people to raise this to you, which is useful information. We can maybe do some interviews and try and backtrack and see what we learned. Sorry, I blew up a little bit, just because, sometimes I like things to go perfectly, but there's a lot that's of value that we can still get from this. And actually, it makes sense that it showed up in the stand-up. So it's a good learn. But yes, I will go recover the couches from the locations I put them in and return them. We'll shut the experiment down.
Okay. I mean, if I know you feel like the integrity is now in question, but I would still love to see your after action on this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What have you learned? Who were you able to conscript into taking those couches? Which couches went missing that were not part of your experiment? And how can we get a beat on those?
Yeah, all good stuff. We'll the team will actually we'll move the analysis forward a week, which is good. We'll see what we get from it.
Yeah. Supply chain is kind of supposed to be my area, and I really thought of you as a mentor, Eric, and I don't know, the fact that you didn't include me just makes me question our mentor-mentee relationship, and is there something wrong with me?
I would never compromise our mentor-mentee relationship by making things easier for you. I would for anybody else.
I appreciate that. I just thought, I could have been involved. Maybe I could have explained more ways for you to steal couches that would have been more effective. That
is something we should talk about after we do after action plan. If we walk through all the things I did and you have more ideas, I think that's a great thing for us to do.
Yeah. No, there are definitely several ways that I absolutely know that you didn't do that are probably the highest likelihood of escape. Anyway, this is just,
Yeah.
Okay, next week when we get coffee, you're still
Our
good
one-on-one,
for... Yeah, 6 a.m. on Tuesdays? Okay,
perfect.
Good.
Okay, well, I think that leaves me. My team has been working incredibly hard on switching over all of our assets and just really building a brand around SIT. SIT is just a name, and now we need colors and fonts, and it's been honestly incredibly hard with the minimum feedback that we get from John on this. So, we're kind of flying in the dark a little bit. The only thing that he really sent any feedback on was the scent, which is not a huge, lift. It came from, I think you've heard the idea that the creative team has that we should spray our couches down with a light scent, brand scent, so that there's things like Tide, right? Tide has a very distinctive brand scent. People really get addicted to it. We really wanted one. I sent several options to John. He ended up coming up with his own scent, which contained something called ambergris, which is frankly whale vomit and illegal in the United States. So our team has been trying to figure out the feasibility of that while we're also doing the heavy lifting of all of the other brand identity pieces.
Oh my God. And I know we have to change scent, but we have so much left over from the meta-market scent.
I know. I totally hear you. Our team is all about sustainability. I can definitely get our team to work on where we can possibly donate that scent, to possibly zoos. They don't smell great, or other places, perhaps the ocean at high tide. Yeah, we can think about that. Honestly, we've been working around the clock though. And this ambergris thing is, really, my team's in a really fragile state. I'll be honest.
Ooh. Okay. Probably doesn't help all the emails I see between you and Matt about, or I would say your teams. I know there's a lot of communication happening. That's not the best.
I want to apologize for some of that. They got really excited about solving this acronym problem, but went about it in a really attention-hungry way, CCing your team on this very long thread and then re-adding them every time they remove themselves. And I apologize for that, Althea.
It's okay. I'll be honest, though, that we are going to have to figure out how to do better communication, because most of my team have now blocked your team due to that thread. It's been too much, and we already went through the shock treatment and all of that piece. They're just
tensions are high.
Yeah, I mean they are, and I have to bring up the incident of your team actually putting up signs and doing a ticker tape parade in favor of their favorite iteration of SIT. It was very well designed, but maybe the wrong time for it.
They're just very straightforward people, and so settle your torso, it just felt like it fit with all of the things we were trying to do. I tried to tell them that it's that's all that sitting is. That's what that means. So it's not meaningful. I don't know. They have a hard time sometimes grasping, the more communication and meaning, the art, the artistry side of language. If it's not, for concision, then they don't quite grasp it. So we'll have to figure something out. I'm sorry, Calathea.
Yeah, it's fine. We're getting through. Honestly, again, compared to this set issue, it hasn't been the worst thing that's happened to us this week. Definitely, what was suggested that we do to Shamu by John was the worst thing that happened to us this week.
Oh, John. Ugh.
This is the problem with him palling around with all these CEOs. He's got way too much pull at SeaWorld, and that is gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Do they just sit around and talk about aquatic sea creatures all day? That, I feel like that's the only thing that he ever sends to us.
I mean, what do you think Necker Island is for?
I don't know.
I just hope this phase ends soon. It's like when he was obsessed with all the animals in Australia. That was
that was bad.
Oh my goodness.
We had a real time with wildlife control in a lot of different places. Who knew he had that many houses?
Yeah, it was we had to cash in a lot of our tips, and what can I say? Hugh Jackman will never speak to me again.
Oof. Well, okay. I'm sorry to hear about all the challenges, Calathea. Are we still on track for end of next week to be ready? Ready with the creative assets, ready to kind of do launch the week after of the new name?
I think we're mostly ready on the name, the colors. We are having some negotiations with the typography people. As you know, they raised their rates, and it's been a lot of back and forth negotiations. But I think after a very long sailing trip this weekend, that I can finally say that it is on track and on budget, which is very exciting, minus, of course, the money we spent on the sailing expedition. I will say that at the first iteration that they gave us, they weren't really happy with us, and it wasn't really legible. I'm not even sure it was in Arabic characters, but I think we're working through some of those issues, so I think you should now be able to read the new font when we roll it out.
I would like to ask that someone on your team, unblock me. Maybe I can be the liaison for this. But my team's been going through the font files they sent over. The ones for print, the ones for the app. Most of those are coming through fine. But they've been slipping stuff into some of the other versions, some of the web font versions, and not on every page load. Long story short, there have been some rude messages popping up in the beta for the website,
God.
and it turned out not to be anything in the database or the CMS. It turned out to be packed into the font files. So let's connect about that and hopefully squash this beef. I don't know.
Is it?
Type foundries are really demanding.
Yeah, it's been really bad. Is it the Bugsby decapitated in the P, B, and D negative space?
You've seen that one, yeah.
Yeah, I have seen that one, and it is obviously really terrible for our brand. So we can definitely squash this.
The bigger ones have been very clever uses of ligatures so that they will catch only certain combinations of characters and words and then replace them often with the same decapitated Bugsby picture, but sometimes with the names of our competitors.
We might have to move to a new typographer after this, but honestly, we are so close to the end that it is just too soon to move over to somebody else. So we're going to have to just hold on and, keep pushing through. And luckily we have somebody on our team who has experience in typography, who's kind of filling in, and has become really good at turning the Bugsby decapitation into something that kind of looks like a ottoman. So
I know that tensions are high, but we probably should pair somebody because my team has been working on some hacks for this as well. And I think number one, we would like to go through and provide you with some simplified files where we strip out from the variable fonts the sliders that they have for us being penny pinchers, for lack of a better word, tightwads. There's a slider in there for how much of a tightwad we are as a company.
God.
And
what are we being rated at right now?
Well, it's variable, so we can set it in our code, in our CSS. But
they're making us decide.
The joke is on us is that no matter where you put it, it just moves around where the insults show up.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh,
if you try to set it all the way to 0, then the font just disappears and is replaced by a text call us with their phone number. It's real phone number stuff.
Their phone number? Okay.
Yeah, no, it's a message to us. They expected us to find this.
Okay. I think, Matt, if you could just choose a couple of employees that we could basically have a truce with. We could definitely find
good
it
idea.
demilitarized space between the barricades that we put up in the creative team for us to talk,
Okay.
through this.
Yeah, and we
Ye-
can keep it super focused. We'll make like this is the typography zone, and
Yeah.
only business about typography is carried out here.
Great.
Everybody can leave their politics with their respective teams.
That sounds really great. Yeah. And, we might have to figure out how to put more budget in typography. I know we extended ourselves with both the couch campaign and the Bugsby campaign for Office,
Oh my
but
God. We
you
haven't
know,
even raised
I-
a Series A. We can't spend like another $50,000 on typography.
believe me, this is the last resort that I want to get. I
What
thought
about like
we
a Google
could
font?
handle this. Yeah, this is our brand at stake, and not just our brand, but John's brand. And I think that
John.
he certainly, if he wants ambergris in our perfume, he's not going to want us to just choose a Google font. He's really looking at a very luxury rebranding, a very high-end rebranding. And he's the one actually who referred us to this Danish firm. They're the ones who invented Helvetica. So, he chose the best of the best, and we're just going to have to
Well, the best of the best of his
Now we're paying
friends.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
best of his. Yeah, exactly. Yes, we're definitely paying for it. But we are
It's almost over.
gonna have to go through. This decision was in some ways made for us, and
I know.
we'll have to
Yeah.
push it through.
I can offer $10,800 from the QA experiment budget that will no longer be needed. So if we would reallocate that to the typography project, maybe that'll start to get us in the way.
That's really great. Chelsea also has some explosives that she didn't use in the past that she is selling off that I think can also add to our budget, just to help make up for some of the losses that we had with Bugsby's lost in Iowa.
Oh, yeah, that was
Great.
so sad.
And my team's been doing good about banking overtime, not drawing on it too hard. So we can
Good.
take some of maybe our type specialist will be somebody from the night shift or a couple of folks that normally sit the server room at night, and they can
Good idea.
take some overtime for doing font work in the day. I've got a little extra budget draw for that.
Okay.
Great.
We just
Yeah.
gotta make it through. We're close to the Series A. I can feel it.
Mm.
Okay. Any other? We're a little bit over time, but any other major items? Okay. Awesome. I actually do have like a one-on-one meeting with John later this week.
What?
Wow.
I know.
Oh, that's crazy.
Sit
Yeah.
down.
A sit down. Yes. I'll let you know how it goes.
Please do.
But yeah. Other than that, it seems like we're all resolved.
And honestly, if you could just, I have some other samples that I swear smell just like
Oh,
the
yeah.
mustiness of ambergris. If you could just maybe convince him,
Okay.
it would be such a huge gain for us.
Sure. Well, we can plan some like subliminal messaging there. Spray them in various parts of the coffee shop, that kind of thing.
That would be great.
Okay, awesome. Well, in that case, I'm going to stop the recording and we'll all get back to work.
Great. All right. Thanks, everybody.
This meeting has ended. To subscribe to This Startup is Being Recorded, go to the podcast player of your choice and tap a button that likely says subscribe. More content is on Twitter at Startup Recorded, or shoot us an email with ideas, feedback, or your personal startup horror story at hello@startuprecorded.com. Kate is played by Valerie Garrison. Valerie is a health tech product manager and regularly plays with the improv troupe Letters to Chicken online. You can find her on Twitter at @thevalgaris. Eric is played by Barry Wright. Barry is a product manager at Spotify and a co-founder of Highwire Improv. Find him by his name on LinkedIn, where he holds regular office hours, or at highwireimprov.com. Matt is played by Marty McGuire. Marty is a senior web engineer and improviser in New York City. You can find Marty's comedy, code, and cats on his website at mmg.re. Calathea is played by Robin Stegman. Robin is a digital campaign manager for Ocean Conservancy and is a comedian mostly found at Highwire Improv. You can find her on all the social medias, and she does mean all, at @rstegi. Thank you for listening.